Hello and welcome to IAMC Radio and Podcast. Today, we're exploring the top news headlines today, March 18th. It's quite a mix of international conflicts and economic developments and even some personal stories that really highlight the complexities of our world. So let's start with the escalating conflict in Gaza, where a 2-month ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has unfortunately been shattered. Israeli airstrikes have killed over 300 Palestinians, and Hamas is accusing Israel of breaking the ceasefire and is vowing retaliation.
Yeah, this conflict has really deep roots, and both sides have very different narratives about what happened and why. Israel saying that the strikes were a necessary response to Hamas's refusal to release captives and extend the ceasefire, but Hamas sees this as a betrayal and a continuation of decades of oppression. The situation is incredibly volatile and raises serious concerns about a wider conflict erupting in the region.
Yeah, the human cost is already devastating, with reports of families trapped under rubble and hospitals overwhelmed with casualties. It's a stark reminder of the human toll these conflicts take and how quickly a fragile peace can unravel. Okay, so now shifting gears to diplomatic tensions in Niger Republic, where the military junta has withdrawn from the Organization Internationale de la Francophonie, or OIF. You might be wondering what the OIF's.
It's basically an organization of French-speaking nations, and Niger's withdrawal after 55 years of membership is a significant symbolic break from its former colonial power, France. This move comes after Niger's exit from ECOWAS following the coup and threats of military intervention. The junta is also expelling French businesses and troops, further straining relations.
It seems they're really trying to assert their independence and distance themselves from French influence. But what are the potential consequences of this isolation for Niger?
That's the big question, right? It could lead to economic hardship and political instability, or it could pave the way for new alliances and a truly independent path. Only time will tell how this plays out.
Right, from political tension to a potential health crisis. The World Health Organization is warning of HIV treatment shortages in 8 countries, including Nigeria, due to a U.S. aid freeze. This is a really concerning development with potentially dire consequences.
Absolutely. The aid freeze is impacting the supply of antiretroviral drugs, which are essential for keeping HIV under control. Without these treatments, millions of people are at risk of developing AIDS, and the progress made in combating the epidemic could be reversed.
This situation really underscores the interconnectedness of global health and how political decisions in one country can have life or death consequences for people in another. Now let's zoom in on Nigeria, where a fuel crisis is impacting neighboring Niger Republic. Over 400 petrol stations in Nigerian border areas have been closed since 2019 to curb fuel smuggling. While intended to help the Nigerian economy, this closure has led to severe fuel shortages and skyrocketing prices in Niger, with some reports saying petrol is selling for as high as N$8,000 per liter.
It's a classic example of a policy with unintended consequences. The Nigerian government is now trying to address the situation by approving the supply of 300 fuel trucks to Niger, but it's a temporary fix. A long-term solution requires tackling the root causes of smuggling and finding ways to ensure equitable access to essential resources.
It's a complex issue that highlights the challenges of balancing economic interests with the needs of neighboring countries. Now, for some positive news on the economic front, Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote has announced major investments in Ogun State. He's planning to build a new seaport at the Olokola Free Trade Zone, which is being described as the largest in the country. And he's also expanding cement production in the state, with the goal of making Ogun the largest cement producer in sub-Saharan Africa.
These investments have the potential to significantly boost Ogun State's economy, create jobs, and attract further investment. It's a vote of confidence in Nigeria's economic potential and a sign that despite the challenges, there are still opportunities for growth and development.
And from economic progress to a concerning incident, an explosion has rocked the Trans-Niger pipeline in River State, causing a major fire. The cause of the explosion is unknown, but there are concerns about possible sabotage, given the current political tensions in the region.
This incident highlights the vulnerability of Nigeria's oil infrastructure and the potential for disruptions that could have significant economic and environmental consequences. It also underscores the need for heightened security measures to protect critical assets from both accidents and deliberate attacks.
Now to a story that sheds light on the human cost of fraud and the complexities of immigration systems. A Nigerian man is facing deportation from the UK after his visa agent fraudulently listed an unknown woman as his wife.
This case is incredibly disheartening. He paid over N$20 million for visa processing, only to find himself trapped in a web of lies. He lost his job, is battling depression, and could be imprisoned and deported, all for a crime he didn't commit.
It's a reminder that even when individuals try to do things the right way, they can become victims of exploitation and corruption. And speaking of corruption and potential abuses of power, our final story takes us to the United States, where President Trump has revoked the Secret Service protection for Hunter and Ashley Biden, the adult children of former President Joe Biden.
This move has drawn criticism, with many seeing it as politically motivated retribution. While federal law doesn't require Secret Service protection for adult children of former presidents, it's been a long-standing courtesy. Trump's decision to break with this norm is seen by some as a way to target his political opponents and raises concerns about the security of the Biden children.
It's a controversial decision that adds another layer of tension to the already polarized political landscape in the U.S. We've covered a lot of ground today, from conflicts and crises to economic developments and individual stories of injustice and resilience. It's a lot to process, and we encourage you to think about what resonates most with you. What connections do you see between these seemingly disparate events, and how do they shape your understanding of the world we live in?
It's certainly been a heavy news day, but amidst these challenges, there are also stories of resilience and hope.
You're right, it's important to focus on those glimmers of light, even in the darkest of times.
Exactly. Take the story of the Nigerian man facing deportation from the UK because of visa fraud. It's a reminder that systems can fail individuals, but it's also a testament to his strength and determination to fight for justice.
His story also highlights the importance of accountability and the need for greater transparency and safeguards within these systems.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that people who are trying to do things the right way aren't exploited or taken advantage of.
The fuel crisis in Niger Republic is another complex issue with no easy solutions.
It's a reminder that good intentions don't always translate into good outcomes, and that addressing issues like smuggling requires a multifaceted approach.
And it highlights the importance of regional cooperation and finding ways to balance economic interests with humanitarian concerns.
Exactly. It's about finding sustainable solutions that benefit everyone involved.
The WHO's warning about potential HIV treatment shortages is a sobering reminder of the fragility of progress and the interconnectedness of global health.
The U.S. aid freeze has created a ripple effect that could have devastating consequences for millions of people.
It underscores the urgency of finding alternative funding sources and ensuring that access to life-saving treatments isn't jeopardized by political decisions.
We need a global commitment to fighting this epidemic, and that means providing the necessary resources and support.
And speaking of commitments, Dangote's investments in Ogun State are a welcome sign of belief in Nigeria's economic potential.
His vision and entrepreneurial spirit are inspiring, and his projects have the potential to create a positive ripple effect throughout the region.
It's a reminder that economic growth and development are possible, even amidst challenges.
And that individuals can make a significant impact.
The explosion on the Trans-Niger pipeline is a reminder of the vulnerability of critical infrastructure and the importance of security and safety measures.
Whether it was an accident or sabotage, the consequences of such incidents can be far-reaching.
It highlights the need for vigilance preparedness and a commitment to protecting vital assets.
Absolutely. It's about mitigating risks and ensuring the well-being of communities and the environment.
And as we reflect on these stories, it's important to remember the human element.
Behind the headlines are individuals and communities whose lives are impacted by these events.
Their stories of resilience, courage, and determination inspire us to strive for a better world.
A world where justice prevails, peace is paramount, and everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Now let's delve a bit deeper into some of these stories, starting with the situation in Niger Republic.
The junta's decision to withdraw from the OIF is a bold move that signals a shift in their foreign policy.
It's a clear message that they want to chart their own course and distance themselves from French influence.
But it also raises questions about the potential consequences of this isolation, both economically and politically.
Will this lead to greater instability, or will it pave the way for new alliances and partnerships?
It's a complex situation with no easy answers. We'll have to wait and see how it unfolds.
The case of the Nigerian man facing deportation from the UK because of visa fraud is a reminder that even in countries with strong legal systems, things can go wrong.
It highlights the need for greater accountability and transparency within immigration systems and the importance of protecting individuals from exploitation.
His story also underscores the human cost of such situations. The emotional toll, the financial burden, and the fear of an uncertain future.
It's a stark reminder that we need to do better to ensure that justice is served and that people's rights are protected.
The WHO's warning about HIV treatment shortages is a call to action.
We cannot afford to let political decisions jeopardize the health and well-being of millions of people.
This is a global issue that requires a global response. We need to prioritize funding for HIV treatment and prevention programs and ensure that access to life-saving medications is not compromised.
It's about saving lives and upholding our shared humanity.
And speaking of shared humanity, the explosion on the Trans-Niger pipeline is a reminder that we are all interconnected.
The economic and environmental consequences of such incidents can be felt far and wide.
It highlights the importance of responsible resource management, environmental protection, and the need to find sustainable solutions to our energy needs.
It's about taking a holistic approach that considers the well-being of present and future generations.
And finally, we come back to Dan Goat's investments in Ogun State, a beacon of hope amidst the challenges.
His vision and entrepreneurial spirit are an inspiration, reminding us that progress is possible.
It's a testament to the power of innovation investment and a belief in a brighter future.
And it shows that individuals can make a difference, driving positive change and creating opportunities for growth and prosperity.
As we wrap up this exploration of today's top news headlines, we encourage you to reflect on the stories that resonated with you.
What insights have you gained? What questions are you left with?
How did these events shape your understanding of the world and your role in it?
Because ultimately, it is our collective awareness, engagement, and action that will determine the course of our future.
It's been a journey through a whirlwind of news and events, and we hope it sparked some reflection for you.
We've seen the fragility of peace, the complexities of global systems, and the ripple effects of decisions made on one side of the world felt on the other.
But we've also seen the resilience of the human spirit, the power of individuals to fight for justice, and the potential for positive change even amidst challenges.
It can feel overwhelming at times to confront these issues, but awareness is the first step.
By understanding these interconnected events and their implications, we can start to see our role in shaping a better future.
Remember that even small actions can have a ripple effect.
Whether it's engaging in thoughtful conversations, supporting organizations working towards positive change, or simply staying informed.
Every step we take towards a more just and compassionate world matters.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of today's top news headlines.
We hope it's left you with a sense of both the gravity of the challenges we face and the power we hold to create a better tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Today's Top News Headlines on IAMC Radio and Podcast.